The end depends upon the beginning. It's a poor libation to Hestia. A child of the immortals offers fire to the immortals. O blessed Hestia, mistress of fire and light, flesh of my soul, bring into my home your divine fire. Let my house partake of your wisdom, love, and power. Blessed Hestia, be welcome in my home. All right, before we get into today's interview, I want to let everyone know that the Discord server has been revamped with a lot of changes. So come check it out. And if you're interested in participating in a book club where we'll read books each month and meet periodically virtually to discuss those books. If you'd be interested in this, come join the Discord server and come check it out. Welcome back to Echoes from the Temple, everyone, for another discussion with the Neophyte. Today I'm going to be speaking with Jasmin. Jasmin is going to be different from the others. She's essentially been a member of the church since she was born. So without further ado, let's get her in. Hey, welcome, Jasmin.
Hello.
Thank you for taking the time tonight to do this with me.
Yep, it's been schedules going back and forth trying to find a time. But hey, we finally here.
Yep, finally getting to it. All right. So let's get straight into it. I know I know your answers are going to be a lot different from some of the others. So, can you explain a little about your background, such as the religion in which you were raised, any experience within magic, and if you had always had an interest in the occult?
Okay, so I know nobody besides the members of the church know, but I am Monty Plaisance daughter, firstborn. So I was technically blessed into the religion uh, when I was born. Um, my mom and father split up. So I was part of it until I was about 5 or 6, I would have to say. And I mean, I wasn't really practicing because you're too young at that age to really practice it. But I was in rituals. I knew how to set up an altar before I was 3 years old. So, um, but after my dad had left my mom had custody of me, and my mom didn't really force anything. Um, she still believed in everything, but she didn't really like teach it to me. Um, so I just kind of went on my own way, not really. I still believed in it, but I wasn't practicing. Like I was just going on with my life and believing that there's the gods are there, you know? Like every time as I grew up, every time I seen lightning, sometimes like thunder and lightning, I would either be completely scared of it because I'm thinking Zeus is fussing me, or I was like trying to talk with it. Now, this is when I was young, okay? And like it was just crazy the imagination I had, or like that I'd say connection, because I feel like I did have a good connection at that time, but me being young makes sense to me anyway. But there was a point in my life where I was probably in middle school that I had a best friend, and she was Christian or Catholic. To be honest with you, I grew up in this, so like I don't know the difference. Everybody is gonna come at me, but I really don't know the difference. To me, they're the same. I know they have like my friend gets mad at me every time I say something about this, but I'm like, they have the same things and it's like a little bit different from each other, but to me, they're the same thing. Um, so I don't remember exactly which one she was, but she was terrified because I believed in something different. Because at that time, I was actually trying to dive a little bit more into it because I was in middle school. My mom had the witch book, all the the uh all the books and stuff, and I was starting to read them, and I was like trying to do spells and all of that, like trying to make it rain outside. I don't know. I was being a kid, you know. And my friend and I was like, she's my best friend, so I'm like, come on, girl, let's try this. But she got terrified. And then she was like, you're gonna go to hell and stuff like that. And she didn't mean it by like, she was more scared for me. Like she wasn't trying to banish me or anything like other people would do. She was literally terrified that I was gonna go to hell. So she scared me at a point, and I'm like, all right, well, I threw all the books away. And I also started going to, they had a church up the street from where we lived. I used to go there. I went there maybe twice. And then I was like, hell no. Hell no. I can't do this. This ain't my vibe. No. It didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, nope. And then I just kind of secretly still believed in what I believed in. And then finally, me and my friend, we talked about it, and we all cool now. Like she's still my best friend. We respect each other's religions. So, but yeah, I had a journey, but then obviously I've been involved with this. So obviously I've been interested in the occult. So since I was born, pretty much. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a big difference from believing in it and practicing it. And I
Yes.
think that that kind of gets blurred in our society today.
Yep. Like I
So,
said, I believed in it pretty much until now that I'm practicing it.
okay. So growing up after your mom and dad had separated, did you still have an interest in Greek mythology?
Oh yeah, always. I had a Zeus plaque in my room. When we moved, I was so upset because I left it. Oops, something's flying at me, sorry. Um, I always did. Every time I seen the moon, I thought of Diana or Artemis, in other words. Um, yeah, I like always had that Greek mythology in my head since as I grew up. My mom had statues throughout the house too. Sometimes she'll have, so they were always around me. My mama didn't really practice like like my dad does, if I have to say, but she did have them there, if you get what I mean. Like, there's always been part of my life. Let me just say it like that.
So for a lot of people coming into Hellenism, they have to overcome all the childhood programming that they received from going to church and, you know, do this and you're going to hell, the threats of hellfire and brimstone. You you kind of bypassed all that.
Yeah, I mean, I had one moment where, like I said, my friend kind of scared me for that brief moment, but it wasn't for long that I'm like, this is pretty much not for me. And I'm like, nope, I'd rather just go to hell if that's the case. Like, I don't believe in it. So I just rather, if that's the case, then I guess I'm going to hell. And I chose my fate. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever.
So what were your first thoughts when you started practicing? No
It
longer believing, but actually putting the work.
it really opened my eyes to a lot. Just in general, like life and feeling the energies around you. Just it's hard to put words to it. Like it's like something I've been missing. Like I needed this. You know, like I've been part of this my whole entire life. And like that's one thing whenever I was younger and growing up without my father, I've always wanted to learn because I knew he was the founder of this. And I'm like, why wouldn't I want to learn from the founder, which is my father? Like that was when then when we finally met again, I was like, after we finally got over all of our hardships and everything like that and talked, I was like, I want to learn from you. Like nobody else but you. Because I'm here because of you. Like, come on. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I still remember when at the old Taminos, you were a teenager and your grandparents had brought you to see him, and y'all were trying then, but there was still external
Mhm.
circumstances that kind of prevented y'all from building y'all's relationship. But
Yep.
it's been a long ride.
Very long ride. Very long. I pretty much like was in, it's just been
And hearing you talk
whew,
about it, like I forget myself how long I've been in a part of this, and hearing you talk about it, I'm like, crazy.
yeah.
So so would you say that you've always felt like you needed spirituality?
Yes, I feel like I've always kind of had it, but just never really knew how to, I guess, it never, it's hard for me to explain. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's always been there. It's just out of my reach, if that makes sense. Like as I grew up, like and then now that I'm practicing and I'm starting to reach it. You know, I still got a lot to go and a lot to learn, but I'm starting to get an inch closer here and there. So, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. So how would you say that your life has changed since you started learning and actually putting everything to practice?
It's changed tremendously because growing up, I had a lot of hardships, a lot. I'm not going to go into details because it's my whole life. Um, but since I've started, things started lining up for me. And I honestly started seeing just, I started seeing things recently, especially with just relationships in my life. It opened I guess opened my eyes to things that I probably never would have noticed until I started doing this type of practice. And but yeah, that really opened me up. And I got a lot more to open up. So I can only imagine what else I'm gonna go through. So but it really did help align a lot. Like I have a family. We're doing really well. Um, we're making it, you know, and I got my relationship with my father that I've been always wanting since I was young. So that's a just a plus. So, but yeah, definitely a big change. I see it especially from when I was growing up.
That's good.
Mhm.
So we know that making changes in one's life can be difficult, but what challenges have you faced since starting the practice? Not, you know, through your childhood, but since starting the practices, what difficulties have you had to overcome?
The biggest difficulties for me is to I know I have the time of the day to do what I need to do, but it's to make sure I make time instead of finding the time, I need to make the time. And I'm still learning that. But it's really just life going on, and then you're trying to practice. So like you have to fit it into your life, if that makes sense. And that's the biggest challenge for me at this moment.
You
Especially
have
with
to
me
want it.
about to be, yes. And I do, and it's just for, and like I do have a 3-year-old running around, and I have a husband that acts like a 3-year-old. So, but, uh, but look, I love them, but it's like, it's really for me, the most challenging thing for me is to make the time. And I'm working on that as hard as I can. I mean, I'm getting my stuff done. It's not that I'm not, it's just in a timely manner, I'm still working on that. And I know going into Zelator, I need to be on that. Like, so that's one of my biggest things I'm working on right now. So,
Yeah, time management's it's something that everyone struggles with, especially in the beginning. Um, so if you could go back and change anything, not something that other people decided for you, but something that you had direct control over, what would it be?
honestly, nothing. I have a feeling I'm here for a reason at this time and period, like time and place. Things that happen to me, even if it was my choice or not, it happened for a reason to get me to where I am today. Like, I really, like, I know this wasn't like a choice for that I made, but I always think about this as like, I always think of where I would be today if my dad never left my mom. But at the same time, there was a reason. First off, that's a whole different story. But um, I think about that a lot, but I think about it now, and now that I'm practicing, there's a reason why I came now into my dad's life. There's a reason why I'm here now. I had to go through all that hardship. I had to go through everything to help shape me to who I am today. So that's, I wouldn't change anything.
Getting that mindset is probably something a lot of people struggle with. I know I did uh, with things that I went through in my life. So kudos to get that mindset.
Yeah.
So would you recommend a spiritual life to others? Not necessarily Church of Thessaly, but just spiritual life in general. And if so, what would you say to prepare for?
I say yes, because it just, in general, it opens you up and helps you in so many ways. And what to prepare for, it opens you up. So you're you're gonna start seeing, not really seeing, but start feeling the difference. And sometimes the change may come faster than you think and may cause you to like think, oh my God, why did I do this to myself? But then later on in life, you're like, oh, this is why I did this. So that's what so yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely. But it is a lot and a lot to learn. And I think any spirituality, it's a lot. So
Yeah, for taking on a true spiritual path, like it's not just go to church on Sundays, say a prayer, sit in a pew. Like that's not spirituality. That's
no.
not active. That's very passive and you're just sitting in a building, you're not participating. It's not meaningful. Something else I think the line gets blurred in our society, especially in the Western world. But
Yeah, you got to put that energy into it. If you don't, then there's no energy coming back at you. That's how I look at it. So
So I know you're nearing the end of your neophyte training.
Mhm.
So are you planning on progressing into Zelator at this time?
Yeah. Yes. I've already gotten the smackdown from my dad about Zelator training. So yes.
So with that said, do you have any concerns about that?
One of my concerns is honestly probably time, trying to do it and forcing myself to make the time. And like I said, that's something I am working on, and I'm trying to be, I want to be, I really want to. It's just for me to do it, and I will. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing. I'm not really scared of my dad, like my husband said, but I mean, he can be scary. So I'm not getting any special treatment, just saying.
Oh, no. I've been on the I've been in the chair getting my an ass chewing on different occasions. So
If
I
anything, I
know.
probably have it worse than most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, the bar for you is probably higher than others around you at this point.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Jared too, though.
I mean, yeah. He's my significant other, so I guess so.
So to this point, how has the journey been for you?
A roller coaster, because I wouldn't even talk about my Theoi. I know that's a question, but a roller coaster for me because my Theoi are Poseidon and Athena, which they hate each other. So roller coaster, but it's getting better.
Yeah, that's coming up. Uh,
Yeah.
so at this point in your journey, what is your ultimate goal for you personally? And has it changed since the beginning?
My ultimate goal is to just continue my dad's legacy, like continue with this church and continue to make a better place and like make, I just want this to live on. That's my main thing. And I just, and it's never changed. Ever since I was little, I've been like that. I've always thought about that. Like, uh, I'm about to tear up. But he's
I
worked
can
so
relate.
hard. He's worked so hard throughout all these years to get to where we are today. And like, I don't want it to just disappear. So I'm tearing up.
I can
So
relate. I was asked somewhere in 14, 15 years ago, maybe. Uh, I think I was something along the lines of the same question I've asked all of y'all, and I gave pretty much the same answer you just gave. Uh, Getting into magic, most people start their magical journey because they crave that power, because there's something in their life that they want to exert their influence over. And when you really start to grow and mature in that, you realize that the power you need to exert your will, the what you need to exert your will over is yourself.
hmm
And when I won't get into all that right now, but Monty helped me a lot when we first met. And after that, I joined the church and seeing what he was trying to build, like, I want to be a part of that. I want to
hmm
make sure that I want to see this happen. And it hasn't changed. But let's move on. So your Thay, what's going on there?
Okay. Athena and Poseidon. Obviously, if anybody knows, they hate each other. My dad makes a joke that it's like my real parents. But I've just in general, the energies between them two. Like I remember when I first started doing my daily devotions. I will never forget this. I had them. I asked my dad because I knew their relationship. I asked my dad, I'm like, do I need to have their stuff together, like their wine together? Most of the time, that's what you would do for your day. You would have your wine offerings together, you'll have your incense offerings together, and your food offerings together. So I tried that because he said, yeah, they both, if they go ahead and try that. So I did. Want to tell me how in the wine there was a roach and then, but it was also jelly. So you got to tell, and I sent it to my dad, and my dad's like, you may have to separate your stuff. So I started separating it. I separated the wine at least. I started working for a little while, and then it's just been a journey. I have them completely separated now, and I had an issue with Athena with her energy anyway, because I was too much in my feelings pretty much with the whole situation. We don't need to go into, but she pretty much came into my face and pretty much was like, not literally, okay? It was oracle reading. And slapped me in the face saying I've been there since you've been pretty much born and I helped you through all this hardship and now you're not, this little thing's gonna mess you up. And then I thought about it, I said there, oh my God, she really has been there my whole entire damn life. And then Poseidon, I don't know what's up with him right now. I think I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out. It could be because Athena's happy with me and now he don't want to be. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a work in progress. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, those their energies just don't.
Collide. Yeah, they
I,
like reject each other.
I get it. You know, mine Dionysus and Hera, so I keep
Yeah.
their offerings separated. But in the past, I have actually placed their offerings together, and it was fine. Since I have the temple outside now, the central altar is for the deity of the month, whoever's being honored at that point, and then Dionysus and Hera on respective sides. So the whole back wall of the temple is for them. It's Dionysus and Hera's temple, just the central altar is for whoever's being honored at that point.
Yep.
But in the past, they were together, and I didn't have any issues. But
I had issues, a lot of issues,
I know.
but it's
So,
okay.
so what's your final thoughts?
Like in general, just final thoughts.
Yeah, just
Mhm. I
where
mean,
where everything is heading from here. What's your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to going through Zelator and, like I said, keep on chugging along, and I will get there. Like I keep on telling myself, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. And I think of all the times in my past that I had a blockage, and I'm like, I've always came over, like, gotten over it. So that's how I feel now. Like I'm gonna do it. I've always been like that. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So, but I'm really excited about Zelliter training and just learning more from what my dad has built up, not just the religion aspect. Now we're going into more of a magical um part, and I'm excited, and I'm gonna do it.
It's going to be rewarding. It's going
I
to be
know.
difficult, but it's going to be rewarding.
I don't know.
I'm worth it. All right. So,
So,
Jasmine, that's all I got. Thank you for taking the time out to do this. I know you got a kid at home running around, probably looking for you right now.
I have two. My husband's one.
I'm sure you told him where you're at.
Yeah, I did. It's just about sense. Always gotta crack a joke.
I'm
So,
sure they're waiting for you to come back in.
oh yeah. I'm surprised I don't hear her screaming.
All right.
So,
Well, thank you for taking the time out to do this.
no problem. Thank you.